Road to Rock. Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. The world of rock isn't just written with notes, it is forged in moments of chaos that hide secrets no one dares to tell. Some call it legend, others a curse. Turn up the volume. This is Road to Rock, and this is the story of Good Vibrations. By 1966, Brian Wilson had stopped treating the studio like a place to capture a band. He treated it like an instrument. The spark for Good Vibrations started as a melody Brian teased on piano, then became an obsession. He paired vocals, rewrote lines with Mike Love, and kept chasing an ever-shifting sound he could not yet name. What followed was radical for a pop single. Brian recorded tiny, perfect sections across Los Angeles studios Western, Gold Star, and others over months, assembling the song from fragments. He pulled in top session players, the so-called Wrecking Crew, and a small army of string and brass players. He layered organ, cellos, and an eerie theremin-like lead played by Paul Tanner on an electro-theremin. Vocals were stacked, double-tracked, then cut and spliced until the climb and release felt inevitable. There was friction. The Beach Boys was still a touring act, and Brian increasingly worked apart from them, hiring session pros and directing parts without the full band in the room. Capitol Records watched costs rise. The single became expensive and slow to make, and the rest of the group had to trust Brian's vision even if they did not always understand it. That tension between studio ambition and band logistics would widen from this point on. Musically, Good Vibrations resembles a miniature suite. It jumps moods without warning, moving from sparse, intimate verses to lush orchestral bridges and a shimmering, lemon-tinged chorus. The modular approach lets Brian juxtapose textures, harpsichord-like lines against cello swells, tight vocal harmonies against orchestral hits, creating a sense of discovery each time the song turns. Rhythm and harmony are used like cutlery, precise and deliberate, and the result sounds both immediate and oddly cinematic. Its release changed expectations. It proved a pop single could be a studio masterpiece, not just a captured performance. It topped charts, pushed Brian into a leadership role that became both creative liberation and personal strain, and raised the bar for what a single could cost and mean. Producers and bands began to think in sections and sonic colors, inspired by the way Brian built meaning through montage. Good Vibrations sits at a crossroads in the Beach Boys' story, the last breath of group identity and the first full flowering of studio altruism. It is a song about forward motion and fracture, a beautiful experiment that both expanded popular music and exposed the pressures behind late 60s studio culture. Subscribe to the channel and smash that like.